If you walk down the baby and toddler aisle at any American grocery store, it looks like a haven of health. But that carefully curated aisle is heavily engineered. This chart shows the reality of those shelves. 70% of all baby and toddler foods available in the US are actually ultra-processed. Manufacturers treat these base crops as raw materials, using molecular manipulation techniques that built the fast food industry, all while marketing these products as essential for childhood development. To understand how we got here, we have to look back to the 1920s. The very first commercial baby foods relied on intense heat and industrial canning processes to create safe, shelf-stable meals that could sit in local drugstores for months. But pummeling ingredients with that much heat destroys natural colors and flavors. To make the pale, separated mush palatable again, manufacturers began adding in sugars, fats, and preservatives to stabilize the final product. Today, that process has evolved into an extreme science. Exhausted, time-poor parents naturally reach for these hyper-convenient snacks just to survive a busy afternoon. The catch is that they are feeding their toddlers food that has been broken down so thoroughly it's practically pre-digested. This exchange secures zero prep time and immediate behavioral compliance in the grocery cart, but it replaces the complex experience of eating with a system of immediate, effortless nutrient delivery. The reason this happens under the radar is a strategy known as the health halo. It's a marketing tactic designed to make heavily processed, industrialized foods appear natural and wholesome to anxious parents. Look at the front of almost any toddler snack and you will see these specific phrases: organic, gluten-free, made with real veggies, and no artificial sweeteners. They are placed across the packaging to trigger your trust. Turn the package around, however, and the ingredients list tells a different story. Instead of whole crops, manufacturers disassemble ingredients into starch slurries, protein isolates, and heavily extracted derivatives. By consuming these disassembled, pre-digested formulas, a toddler's body is completely bypassed. Their digestive system never has to do the biological work of breaking down intact nutrients. Because that normal digestive friction is gone, the gut loses its ability to send accurate fullness signals to the brain. Instead, the rapid absorption trains a developing human brain to expect immediate, effortless satisfaction every time they eat. If you have a pantry full of these snacks, you are not failing. You are being actively tricked by an industry that drives profit margins by exploiting parental anxiety with highly engineered, misleading packaging. The food pouch is the ultimate convenience item. They are marketed as a mess-free way to deliver full servings of vegetables, perfectly pureed and ready to go. But read the fine print, and you'll find those veggies are heavily diluted. The first and most plentiful ingredients are almost always fruit concentrates or fruit purees, not the greens pictured on the label. A fruit concentrate is not a whole fruit. It is extracted sugar stripped of its protective fiber. Without that fiber, the outcome is severe. A single serving delivers 8 to 12 grams of concentrated sugar directly into a toddler's system. Delivering that volume of fiberless sugar so rapidly, directly into a small bloodstream, triggers a metabolic reaction that is virtually identical to drinking a can of soda. Here is the reality of the pouch. You gain zero mess convenience and a guaranteed intake of calories. In exchange, you sacrifice the child's ability to naturally regulate their own blood sugar and recognize actual hunger cues. The second major category of deceptive snacks takes a different physical form. These are the dry toddler foods, like freeze-dried yogurt melts or extruded grain puffs. Food scientists build these items using a technique called multi-phase processing. It is a manufacturing method meant to engineer the physical sensory experience of the snack. When a child puts a puff in their mouth, it feels solid and crispy on the tongue. But the millisecond it meets saliva, it structurally collapses and dissolves into nothing. Look at the inputs inside that vanishing texture. They are simple carbohydrates and artificial flavorings, masked as organic tapioca starch. This rapid carbohydrate delivery triggers a fast, powerful dopamine hit, driving the child to reach for more. The short-term benefit for parents is undeniable. It gives you a quiet, temporarily occupied toddler when you are trying to navigate a high-stress environment, like a grocery cart. But the long-term trade-off is steep. Constant exposure to these hyper-palatable, highly-stimulating textures trains the child's brain to view natural, whole foods, like a raw apple or a piece of chicken, as bland, solid, and laborious to eat. The alternative to ultra-processed snacks is serving whole, single-ingredient foods. Think steamed broccoli, whole milk yogurt, or slices of fresh fruit. The ingredient profile of real food requires no decoding. There is no hidden list on the back, no added tapioca starches, and no molecular slurries. Eating real food demands a physical effort from a child. They have to physically chew, interact tactily with the texture, and engage their full senses to consume it. Chewing breaks down intact fiber naturally, forcing the body to digest nutrients at the slow speed nature intended. This slow digestion gives the gut time to evaluate calories and send accurate fullness signals to the brain. We have to be honest about the cost here. Serving whole foods requires significantly more prep time. It generates messy cleanups, and it guarantees higher rates of immediate, loud rejection from your toddler. Enduring a messy high chair and toddler tantrums today is the effort required to help a child develop a natural palate and stable biological responses to food. The objective for parents isn't to achieve a diet of zero processed foods. The goal is to operate with zero illusions about what you are actually purchasing. To evaluate ingredients, use the grocery aisle survival scorecard. Green flags, exactly 3 ingredients or less, visible whole grains, and 0 added sugars. Red flags mean heavy molecular processing. Avoid fruit concentrates, tapioca starch, ambiguous flavors, or lists of 4 or more items. By deploying this scorecard, you shift the responsibility for your child's nutrition away from deceptive marketing and take back control of their metabolic inputs. Let's apply this to real life. If you are a time-poor parent relying on pouches simply to survive a chaotic afternoon, you probably cannot prep whole foods for every single meal. Your actionable compromise is to keep utilizing the convenience of pouches, but run them through the scorecard. Select only the ones containing 3 or fewer recognizable ingredients and absolutely 0 fruit concentrates. Conversely, if you are a health-optimizing parent, you might be unknowingly spending money on premium-priced, organically branded, ultra-processed foods like freeze-dried yogurt drops. Your pivot is to redirect that budget. Buy a large tub of plain whole milk yogurt and physically mix in crushed berries yourself at home. That minor adjustment delivers verifiable probiotic benefits for a fraction of the cost, even though it requires the extra effort of a spoon and a bib. While convenience is a tool for survival, taking the time to let a child see, touch, and struggle with real food is how you build the foundational habits that protect their long-term health.